Hey guys, Black Ninja 797 here. In today's video, this is going to be another commentary for you guys. In today's commentary, what I want to talk about is nostalgia versus innovation. I feel like you guys can really relate to this topic, and also it really relates to the situation with Call of Duty this year. And I feel like you guys will really like the stories I'm also going to be talking about in today's video as well. The gameplay you're going to be watching in the background, by the way, guys, is going to be some Black Ops 3 gameplay. It's going to be some TDM on Fringe. Going to be going pretty ham in this gameplay. I ended up getting like 2 deaths at the beginning and then going on like a crazy streak for like the rest of the game. So I hope you guys enjoy that in the background. But let's talk about nostalgia versus innovation. I'm going to be talking about nostalgia first and then innovation next, and talking about how it relates to the situation with Call of Duty this year and like what's my experiences and stuff like that. So let's begin with nostalgia. So back in the day of 2012 and stuff like that, I was a big fan of WWE. I liked watching WWE on TV. I liked playing the video games. Everything about WWE I thought was cool. I was a big fan of wrestling at the time. And I ended up getting WWE 12 for my Nintendo Wii. Yes, I had a Nintendo Wii at the time, and I did buy it for, the Nintendo Wii. Don't judge me. I ended up getting the WWE 12 game for the Nintendo Wii back in 2012, and the game was very fun. The game was fun. It was innovative. It was very unique, and I liked the game for that. There was a lot of wrestlers that I remember. There was a lot of new wrestlers. The game was very fun. Even though it had potato graphics, I just still thought it was very cool to be able to play as all the wrestlers that I saw on TV. It made me feel, immersed, and felt like I was actually there, which was really cool. And then I ended up getting WWE 2K13, I think it's what called. I actually think it was just called WWE 13, but it's fine either way. I'll just call it either one. But I ended up getting WWE 13 a year later, and the game was even better. The game was almost like a direct sequel to WWE 12. It was kind of like the situation with COD 4 and then getting MW2. The game was just a better sequel, and that's why the game was even more fun. I also ended up getting a Xbox 360 at the time because that's when I ended up upgrading, and that's when I started, making videos. And so I ended up getting better graphics. I had the Xbox 360 controller, so the controls were a lot more, less clunky, and they were very fun. And I thought that the game was innovative once again, had a whole bunch of old faces, new faces, and the game was awesome. Then WWE 14, which is a year later, comes around, and the game doesn't feel any different. It feels like the exact same game, almost to the point where it's literally the exact same game, but you pay $60 for it again. And that kind of blowed. WWE 14 was literally identical. It was literally 99.9% identical. Sure, there was a couple new, characters, maybe one or two, and I'm not even sure if there ever was a new game mode, in WWE 14 from 13. But the game was literally the same, and that made the game boring for me, and I really didn't like that. I played WWE 13 and 12 like crazy, but with 14, I didn't even play it for like literally a year. I played it for like a couple months every now and then, and that was really only at a friend's house, and the game just got stale after a while, and that's why I ended up skipping WWE 15 or 2K15, and then I ended up getting WWE 2K16 only because the game was free with gold. And I was just like, you know what, let's just take a trip back down memory lane and just try the game for fun, see if anything's changed. So I ended up getting WWE 2K16 because it was free with gold, and the game felt new again. It felt like it was, just like it was. It felt nostalgic. I got reminded of all the old characters. There were some new characters that made it fun. New game modes, better graphics because I also upgraded to the Xbox One. And the game was pretty much just basically just another direct sequel again, even though I skipped a couple of games. I only skipped one. I don't know if I said a couple, but either way, let's just move on. But basically the game was a direct sequel again, almost to me. And the problem was, though, is that after the nostalgia wore off and all the innovation also wore off, the game became stale again because, sure, it was cool to play it, because I haven't played in a long time, but once you get into it, and you just used everything, it's just the exact same thing again because you're already used to it and you're already used to seeing it. And that's why nostalgia can sometimes be just a slap in the face. You can be reminded of all these great things when you get on the topic of something that you really enjoy, but when you actually end up going back and doing said thing or playing said game, the game will be not the same. It will be, pretty much the same, but you'll get reminded of all the BS in the game that you forgot about. Like, that's why I don't necessarily go back and play my old games. Like, you don't see me on MW2 constantly because I don't want to be swarmed with the noob tube glitch, or, the commando knifers or the snipers that are trying to quickscope and get into phase. I just don't want to be reminded of that. I know that that's there, but I don't want to be in full force and just basically just be, a slap in the face and make me not want to play the game, because I just don't want to have a tainted memory of a game that I really love. And that's why I try to stay away from the BS in my old games and just try to have fun. But at the same time, if I try to have fun, that means that I have to endure some of the BS in the game, because it's not 100% avoidable. Like, if you go on MW2, you're gonna get noob tube, you're gonna get knifed, you're gonna get quickscope. It's just gonna happen. And that's why I don't necessarily think that nostalgia is a bad thing, but it's definitely something that can't be on its own. It just can't. And now let's talk about innovation. This is something that really relates to Call of Duty, and I also think that you guys will really like what I have to say here. I feel like Call of Duty 2017 was a very bad mix-up of nostalgia and innovation in all the wrong places. Infinite Warfare was trying to be a carbon copy of Black Ops 3 and failed miserably. They tried to copy the specialists and make them rigs, which they did. They tried to copy the score streak system, the Black Ops 3 movement system, all that, but they also ended up copying some stuff from Ghost in Advanced Warfare too. And that's what made the game very lackluster. They copied the bad colors, the bad streaks, and the bad map flow from Ghosts, and they copied the supply drop variants, the exosuit spam, and the supply drop system from Advanced Warfare. And it made the game very unplayable, it made the game very frustrating, and it made the game not fun. The game was trying to be too nostalgic and innovative at the same time, but they did it the wrong way. There's nothing wrong with trying to balance out nostalgia and innovation. You need to have both to be successful, because otherwise, if your game's only nostalgic or only based off of innovation, the game's going to fail. But they ended up trying to innovate with supply drop variants, which was not good. They should have just left that out of the game again. And they also tried to innovate with, somewhat new maps, but that didn't really work out because it was almost like a carbon copy of the Black Ops 3 maps. And the game just didn't feel right. It felt like it was copied where it shouldn't be, and threw out all the ideas that were good from the other games. Like, why is it that in Infinite Warfare they got rid of the feature from Black Ops 3 where if you join a game late and then you end up leaving it, you won't be put back in that same game? Like, why'd they get rid of that feature? That was a good feature that they could have brought in from Black Ops 3. Or why'd they end up, putting in variants again? The supply drop system in Black Ops 3 did just fine when they just put in base weapons like the HG-40 and the FAMAS. Or why did they end up removing the good score streaks from Black Ops 3 or nerfing them into oblivion where they're not fun anymore? Why would they do that? Instead, they end up making the supply drop variants come back from AW, or they end up making the exosuit spam from Advanced Warfare, or the bad colors from Ghost, or the bad streaks from Ghost. Like, they didn't balance out the nostalgia and the innovation in the right places. They did it incorrectly, and that's what made the game fail. And that's also the case with COD 4 Remastered too, is that everyone before the game came out, they were just like, oh my god, COD 4 is going to be so great, it's going to have better graphics, it's going to be so fun, it's going to be replacing Infinite Warfare and everything. And then the game comes along, and everyone's using M16s everywhere, Last Stand, Martyrdom, Juggernaut, all these things that we just completely forgot about, and when we end up getting hit with them again, we're just like, what's going on here? And so it's basically, in summaries, that you can't have just nostalgia or innovation, or even both, in the wrong place. You have to get it perfectly, otherwise the game will fail. Anyways guys, this is today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you do, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Peace out.